Why do highly narcissistic traits and addiction seem to go together? Why do those seem to be so comorbid? We see this very, very often in our cases where there is a truly highly narcissistic problematic party, and comorbid with that is some form of addiction. And that form of addiction can take all different manifestations from alcohol to drugs to online shenanigans, whatever have you. But why do those seem to be so interrelated? Why are they so constantly comorbid? And my theory behind that is the narcissist is highly, highly engaged in the exhausting work of mask making. They are day in, day out putting forward this facade, this fake persona, in order to uphold and preserve this illusion of perfection. And that is exhausting. That is constant, chronically stressful, exhausting work. And this isn't sympathy for the devil talk. This is a descriptive discussion of what I think is at play behind the scenes. And so when they turn to things like alcohol, so per se, that is their way of one, trying to numb the underlying very deep discomfort they have with the awfulness of their reality that they ultimately have no real control over. And two, it provides these shots of sugars and dopamines and ethyl alcohols, all that that their brain and their body needs in order to continue that exhausting work of upholding the facade, to constantly creating and upholding that mask. And so often we see that the more out of control that person is, and the more they're trying to uphold these masks of perfection, the more they are engaging in all sorts of reckless, stimulating, artificial dopamine driving addictions and behaviors to fuel that vicious cycle of mask creation. And so that's again a theory, what I think the relationship is between narcissism and addiction. And when we look at these cases, so often they are comorbid. Now, does that excuse them in their behavior? Absolutely not. But it does give us at least some more insight in knowing what we are dealing with, and ultimately that we might be dealing with somebody who cannot truly beat that addiction cycle because they're never going to be able to deeply, fully, genuinely appreciate kind of what's happening at core. And so, in the family law context, what do? We can look to different protective measures for the children and try to put as many boundaries in place to create a safe container. If there is going to be a custody schedule, perhaps we need to have long term monitoring, alcohol, drug testing, those sorts of things to try to externally control and monitor what's happening, but we usually can't have any genuine expectation of change. So, usually, the best thing we can do is understand just the tragic reality of that dynamic and then make some concrete plans and terms built into a final order that will work to help protect the children from that reality.